I mean, since you're in, let's talk about what Ethan Skolnick has reported, that Donovan Mitchell wanted to come to Miami and would have liked to play with Bam, but had his reservations, evidently, about playing with Jimmy Butler.
Shout out to Ethan Skolnick and the
Miami Heat beat.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, man.
Hangover time.
And that too. It's interesting because, I get it and I don't get it, right? From one perspective, I get it because Jimmy has a reputation of rubbing people the wrong way. He's a very intense personality that burns people out. And then from another perspective, it's you're in Utah, and you could have gone to Miami, a team that was a shot away from the conference finals, and you pass on that because the guy's a little intense.
Wait, did he pass on it because he was under contract with the Utah Jazz?
Yes,
he wasn't a free agent.
Yes,
and Danny Ainge. Doesn't really want to work with Pat Riley.
Yeah.
Pat Riley doesn't really want to work with Danny Ainge.
The part I'm more interested in addressing with Amin, right? Because, Mike, you keep talking about this. You keep bringing in that Jimmy's a lot. Jimmy rubs people the wrong way. But Jimmy's efficiencies are crazy this year. He's great this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much that means or how it is that happens. You explain to me how it is that somebody can be so, quote-unquote, asshole that Donovan Mitchell is saying, yeah, not sure about that.
I think part of it is he wears people out, right? I don't think for some people Jimmy might rub them the wrong way instantly. For others, I think you go and by the way, Chris Paul has this reputation, Kobe had this reputation. It's like, yeah, oh man, he's really pushing me. I've never worked so hard. I'm getting better. And it's like, I just don't want to hear it anymore at some point. That happens. I think one of the crazier things I wonder is that Jimmy is kind of the last of a dying breed. I know we talk about it on Metalarkers this week, but Damian Lillard was kind of talking about how the NBA is changing and not necessarily to the good.
He doesn't like the way
the culture of the game. Yeah.
That everything is about ring chasing and no one else can be good unless they're winning the championship this minute, even if the championship's not being played for this minute.
Well, too bad.
But there also is an argument or a discussion, I should say, to be had about, like, sometimes this shit ain't easy. And it's not fun, right? Like what Pat Riley say, like there's winning and there's misery. Like that is something now that is evaporating in our league. Like the idea that, oh, we're going to have to do some things that we don't like to do. Guys like, what? What do you mean? I don't do that. I don't put up with that. I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine who worked for a team, and they were talking about like they were late because the rookie was late. And I said, he was late to the bus. Why didn't you just get the second bus? Like, no, that was the second bus. And I said, the rookie's riding on the second bus? And like, that's the NBA now. Like the NBA I worked in, I don't care if you were Jesus Christ drafted first overall. You're a rookie, you're going on the first bus. Second bus is for vets. First bus is for rookies. And then you had guys like Ray Allen who's like, I'm going to take an Uber or whatever to the arena before any of the buses. Now you've got like young guys saying, I don't take the first bus. And if you push on them in any way, you say, hey, man, like, you got to do this. Then they either fold or they rebel or what. Like you have this whole thing where it's like there is no part of this that they're willing to take a discomfort to. And, you know, I'm not saying that about Donovan Mitchell, but there is an element of Jimmy that is from another era where guys are like, I don't know if I want to put up with someone who's demanding like that.
Jeremy Taché is around the Heat all the time. He's doing an assortment of things here for Meadowlark Media. Jeremy, what do you have for us on the subject of Jimmy Butler?
Well, realistically, with this report with Ethan, the thing that mattered in terms of context here is also what he was really saying, too, was not that Mitchell didn't want to be here, but that he only really desperately wanted to play with Bam, and looking at the construct of the team, wasn't willing to make the mess to make it just Miami. Miami is my only destination I'd like to be in. And I think that's the big difference when we look at this. It wasn't that Donovan Mitchell necessarily didn't want to play with Jimmy potentially and come down here and play with Bam, but more, he wasn't willing to go as far because of these things that we've heard about Jimmy Butler and the way he does have these demands of younger players in particular. It's why the undrafted guys have sort of worked for Jimmy, right? He's the type of guy who's pushing these guys to be something that they would not have been otherwise. It's why the culture carrying with Udonis Haslem has worked. It's why it's worked with Jimmy Butler specifically here. A bunch of dudes who never really thought they would be this great in the NBA,
But
and he's brought that out of them.
He's cruel, correct?
He is.
I mean, again, I
He
think
is.
I think there's
But in
there's
a
context.
motivating way.
I think there's a context to all of it, right? In 2023, some of what he does might feel callous, right? It's not a come on guys, let's work harder. It's
He's also
accusatory
he's also very temperamental, and sometimes he has his days where it falls on the way wrong side. And it's not just motivational.
Wait, guys.
It's just Jimmy being a jerk.
Yeah.
But who is Donovan Mitchell? He doesn't want to be pushed. Like Jimmy Butler, you choose to play with Jimmy Butler, who went to the NBA Finals, who was a shot away from going to the NBA Finals. You've never done that, being the best guy on your team, and you don't want to be pushed.
Well, he chose not to play with him.
I know, but sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Like that would have been a better option for Donovan Mitchell to
Not
join
everybody
a team
responds.
that's a shot away from the for the NBA
But
Finals.
you say who's Donovan Mitchell? He scored 71 in a game, Stugotz. Like,
Great.
I mean, okay, he
He's
doesn't
now
get
a
out
perennial
of
all-star.
He doesn't get out of the rounds that you'd like him to get out of as the lead on a team, but neither did Jimmy Butler before he came down here.
I know, but Jimmy Butler has, and he's done it recently. So if you're basing it off the last couple of years, you see a guy, hey, he led his team to the NBA Finals and was a shot away from the NBA Finals. I don't want to play with him. He pushes me too hard. Get out of here.
Look at us. Remember when you guys were questioning, like, Jimmy Butler, a superstar? And now Stugotz is like, that man went to the NBA Finals.
I'm as shocked as anybody. I didn't think he could do it, but he's done it.
Well, at the time, wasn't Bam talked about as being one of the pieces you would need to get Donovan Mitchell? So you might have not even been able to play with him.
But this is what the reality of that report was trying to contextualize, right? Is that you needed Donovan Mitchell to make so much of a stink and make it so much about only Miami that you could get away with not trading Bam Adebayo or Jimmy Butler to get him here.